Hi everyone, my name is Wagner Barreto-Souza. I'm Deputy Director of the Masters in Data Computational Science, and Leno is the Director of the program. So, our program is delivered by the UCD School of Mathematics and Statistics, and actually it's a joint program between statistics and applying computational mathematics. And the main aim of the program is to give students skills in data analytics to solve real life problems in industry. So some of the students go to the academic research, mainly a PhD program, but the majority of the students end up in the industry. So and you will gain skills in both stats and apply in computational mathematics. So it's not a computer science, but the program is heavily focused on computational science. So this will involve algorithms, scientific computing, parallel computing for simulation, mathematical modeling, but at the same time, statistics, including theoretical and computational features. And at the same time, you learn a lot of programming in C, R, MATLAB, and Python. And I also like to highlight option modules in high performance computing. You can take, during the program. So regarding entry qualifications, we have noticed that students with background in mathematics, statistics, physics, engineering, computer science have performed well in our program. And we basically look at four modules, when you're applying. So the key four modules are calculus of a single variable, calculus of several variables, linear algebra, and probability and statistics. So these are four modules that if you have good grades in these modules, you have a competitive application. And of course, we also look at some background in programming. And the more math modules you have, the better for you. So you have more chance. We also look at other modules like discrete mathematics, complex analysis, matrix theory, and so on. So you need to take these nine core modules. So this is a blend of statistics and applying computational mathematics modules. And then you have to select three option modules. So this is the list of modules, but all of this information is available to you online, and you can find the complete list of core and option modules in this link here. So the first part of the program is about the modules. The second part is during the summer, you have to choose between stream 1 and stream 2. Stream 1 is the traditional dissertation under the supervision of an academic. So this is a 30 credit full-time dissertation. But the second stream, it's a combination of a mini project and some taught modules. So at the end, completing 30 credits. So this for the second stream, you have more flexibility and you have the choice of online taught modules as well. Regarding the career destination of graduates, we have some students going through the academic career in Irish or other European universities, but as I mentioned before, most opt for career in industry, and like they have industry roles like data analyst, data science, data engineering, software engineering, so on. And regarding the organizations, there are banks, Irish international banks, and multinational tech companies. So these are the common, let's say, destinations for former students, and we have these two highlights here: Federal Reserve Bank economist and a data scientist for a Premier League football team. So that's an overall idea about our program. So that's it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Wagner. And that leads nicely into our graduate part of this session. So we will start off by speaking to Vivek, and we just have a few questions for both graduates to give you a sense of their background before they did their masters, their top highlights from the masters, and what they are currently studying or working as now. So, Vivek, would you mind giving us a brief overview of your background before you started the masters?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. Good morning. I'm Vivek Bulani, and I'm currently doing a PhD, but I'll come to that later on. But I was almost like in your place 4 to 5 years before, and even I was coming for my master's for the same course in UCD. And before my master's, I was doing my bachelor's itself. So came for the master's straight after my bachelor's, and my bachelor's was in like computer engineering from India itself. And it was like a 4 year bachelor's, doing which I started to develop an interest in the data science machine learning part. So programming in Python and R, and then maths part. And then finally, like since second year or third year, I started to develop small mini projects as well on machine learning parts with special focus on its application in healthcare. And even my like final year project was focused on healthcare, where it was mostly like helping the users identify how healthy they are. So all that experience helped me to do a smooth transition for this course, and that's the reason I went for this course as well in the masters.
Brilliant, thank you. And can you maybe talk a little bit about your experience during your time in UCD and in Dublin?
Yeah, sure. So I remember like when I came to UCD first, it was like a quite huge campus, and we always used to say that it's like a small village itself, and like there's so many things within, so many facilities on campus. But considering the course part, studies part, it was already I was assuming that it's a 1 year course, so it will be a bit more hectic, and that was quite true. So there were a lot of assignments, there were exams back to back, but overall I did quite enjoy a lot. I learned a lot, for which I mostly went for this course because it was quite technical, quite mathematical, and as Dr. Wagner also mentioned, that it's mostly like focus on computational part. So that was quite interesting for me. I learned quite a lot from this, especially to the practical applications, practical assignments, and everything. And overall, like Dublin part, like a bit of like rainy weather, but apart from that, it has been quite a good experience for me over the past 4 to 5 years in Ireland.
Amazing, and it's great to see you are still in Dublin and in Ireland,
Yes,
which
yeah.
is fantastic to hear.
Yes, still here.
And since you graduated, you mentioned that you're now doing a PhD. Do you maybe want to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So when I was like in my second semester, just as like around this time, Jan, Feb. So when the second semester started, I remember like Professor Lennon and Professor Claire and other professors also started to advertise different PhD openings and different PhD positions. So I always had a thought in my mind to go for a PhD since my bachelor's, but then when I got to know about these openings, I started to look upon. I researched like how is it doing a PhD in Ireland, and what's the application process, what all different fundings do I have. So then I started applying, and then by the third semester, I've got luckily got a place as well for the PhD. So immediately after my master's, I went for this PhD, and currently I'm doing a PhD in artificial intelligence from DCU, that is Dublin City University, and I'm in my now final year. So fingers crossed that looking forward to finish it and wrap up it up this year. And yeah,
And do
and
you have
my
any? No, go ahead.
yeah, my project is basically again on AI part itself. So using the algorithms of machine learning and deep learning for the fintech finance part, that is basically suggesting users the most optimal portfolios suitable for them, which stocks, which cryptocurrencies they should invest, when they should invest, how much they should invest, and so on. So a lot of learning from my masters also helped me in this PhD as well.
Brilliant. And final question for you, Vivek. I suppose there's a lot of international students on here today. Is there anything that you know now that you would have liked before starting the course or before arriving in Dublin?
So I would say, like, as this course is more on focus on computational part, it is quite helpful, or it would be quite helpful for you all if just a quick revision on different mathematical parts, like different parts of the math subject, especially like the calculus part, because there's a lot of work and learning on the differentiation, integration, partial differentiations, the different modules which cover up those. So if you guys can just do a like quick revision, that will help a lot during the course. And secondly, like a quick revision again on R as well, if they are well aware with the R programming language, because there were few modules which focus on R instead of Python. So just to have a hang on both Python and R as the languages coding programming. So that will help, I would say.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Vivek. And
Thank you.
Vivek will be staying on for the Q&A section. So if you do have any questions, he will be happy to answer some of those also. We will move on now to Vishali. Vishali, would you like to introduce yourself and just give a little bit of your background before you completed your master's?
Yeah, sure, Danielle. Thank you. You can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay. So morning, everyone. I'm Vaishali, and before, so I just completed my master's in data and computational science from UCD back in 2024. And before this, I did my undergrad in computer science, and I worked at Cognizant in India in the data engineering team for about 1.5 years or so. And I always knew that I wanted to get a master's degree. And I think what specifically stood out with respect to UCD was the balance between the math and hands-on coding. You'll see a lot of courses out there which focus heavily just on the coding part or heavily just on the tools. But it's nice that this program emphasizes on understanding like the theory and setting down your foundation for doing all of the hands-on coding later on. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank
you. And what was your experience like during your time in UCD, Vishali?
Yeah, I think I'll agree with Vivek. It was definitely intense, but in a good way. The workload is obviously going to be a bit challenging because you're getting a master's degree in 1 year, but that's good. You're constantly balancing your theory-heavy modules with all of your applied projects, but that intensity is what builds your confidence by the end. I guess one of the most like valuable things that comes out of the whole thing is the diversity of cohorts. I remember how, sure, there'll be some students with similar backgrounds like me from a technical background, but we also had people who studied like Chinese studies and whatnot. So it's nice that when you work with people from such different backgrounds on the same projects, and it really broadens your perspective on how you can look at the same problem in such different ways, which is a very powerful thing in data science, to know that you can approach everything in more than just one way. And I guess outside academics, I really did enjoy being a part of the archery club. It's specifically not just that, there's so many other clubs in UCD that I think people should really explore and take a part in while they have a chance. Do everything while you can.
That is brilliant. Thank you. And I think it is really important to say that it is a 1-year master's, but it is the full 1 year. You maybe get 2 weeks off at Christmas time and that is it. So it is quite an intense 1 year for you. But I think it's very important that you also make the most of your time in UCD and to join those clubs and societies and really implement yourself. And they're where you gain the most experiences also outside of the academics. But Vishali, can you kind of give us an overview of what you are working at now and how maybe your master's impacted your career?
Yeah. So for the past year, from last February, I've been working as a data scientist at CEDAR, which is actually on UCD's campus. I'm on their graduate program, and my current client is a medtech-based client. So we do a lot of projects that revolve around signal processing and machine learning heavily. And every day involves analyzing models' behaviors, improving performance, fine-tuning. working with real data constraints. And I guess there's always that certain kick of, wow, I'm making like a wee bit of a clinical impact out there. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Just,
that is great, and it's great to hear you're still on UCD campus as well. So you're still getting all
yeah.
the benefits of being on this lovely campus.
Exactly. Yeah.
You really have to see it in person to understand the extensiveness of it, I feel.
Exactly.
And then finally, similar to what I asked Vivek, is there anything that you know now that you would have liked to know before you came to UCD?
I guess firstly, don't be discouraged if you don't understand everything immediately. The learning curve is steep, and that is intentional. Your growth happens in that discomfort. So over time, things will compound and it will start to make sense. Secondly, I guess take initiative outside the classroom also. Networking, attending talks, speaking with your lecturers, exploring opportunities, just like how Vivek got his PhD. So all these things make a huge difference. The program opens many doors, but it is your job to make sure that you actively walk through them. You're given a lot of independence, and with that, naturally, you're going to have to take some responsibility.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Vishali.